Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a drama romance film called Rust and Bone from 2012. Enjoy your viewing. Alain is an unemployed man, a former boxer. He is traveling to France with his 5-year-old son in his arms, hoping to find a job. The boy asked for something to eat, and Alain walked through the wagons, where he found snacks and fruit, so the father and son had lunch. When Alain arrived in the resort town, he first looked at the Côte d'Azur. Then Alain went to a hardware store where he stole a camera. Alain's sister Anna lives here. Her husband, Irishar, takes in homeless people. The family also lives on a shoestring. They eat expired food that Anna brings home from her job at the supermarket. The woman returned home and is not very happy to see her family. Alain says that he hardly spoke to his son, but decided to take him away from his mother because she was using the child to transport illegal substances. The guests were placed on the floor in the garage. Alain had been boxing for 6 years, so he managed to get a job as a security guard at a nightclub. A man attacked a girl and broke her nose. Alain offered to call her a taxi, but Stephanie refused. Then he decided to drive her home himself. In the car, Alain said that the girl was very indecently dressed, so it was not surprising that men started to hit on her. He asked for ice to put on her arm, which was swollen after the fight. It turned out that Stephanie was living with a lover, and he had no idea that his girlfriend was having fun at the club. After examining the photo, Alain learned that the girl worked at a dolphinarium. Simon demanded that the uninvited guest leave. Alain began to quarrel, and Stephanie asked him to calm down. However, she pointed out to her lover that he was a weakling, and Alain was easily able to silence him. Many spectators came to watch the girl's performance at the dolphinarium. Stephanie is the most experienced among the trainers, and she enjoys her work. However, during the performance, one of the predators attacked Stephanie, and she fell into the water. She woke up in a hospital room. She pulled off the sheet and saw that she had no legs. Stephanie started to panic, fell out of bed and crawled to the exit. From Stephanie's memories, we understand that the killer whale, having smelled the blood, bit off her legs as well. Stephanie became depressed. She does not communicate with friends and relatives. Once she hid a scalpel, but it was taken away by a nurse in time before the patient harmed herself. At the same time, Alain resumed boxing training. He met a fitness trainer and immediately retired to the locker room with her, completely forgetting about his son, who was supposed to be picked up from school long ago. This happened for the 3rd time in 2 weeks, and the teacher threatened to call the police next time. Now Alain works nights as a security guard in a supermarket, where his sister helped him get a job. The man left Stephanie his phone number, and she decided to call him. He had seen a report about what had happened to the girl. Stephanie was sitting in the middle of the room in a wheelchair. She had stopped noticing the passage of time. The insurance company still pays for her housing, and different people come to help her around the house. Suddenly, the girl froze in place, and when she came to, she complained that she smelled bad. Alain decided to take Stephanie outside. At first, she refused because she was ashamed to be seen in public in this way, but eventually agreed. For the first time in months, Stephanie saw sunlight. They stopped at the beach, and Alain wanted to swim. For obvious reasons, Stephanie refused to support this idea, but because of her love for the sea, she agreed. The girl asked to be carried to the water. Despite the lack of legs, Stephanie confidently held on to the waves, and even managed to swim quite far from the shore. This gave her back her desire to live. At home, she left the curtains open again and turned on the music at full volume. Stephanie decided to go through her wardrobe and give her friend all her dresses and shoes. Meanwhile, a colleague shows Alain a video of street fighting without rules. He has already participated in such fights. Marsali, a technician, came to the supermarket and noticed that Alain was interested in fighting without rules. He offered the security guard to make some money. The man organizes underground fights, and the technician offers Alain to show him what he can do. Alain immediately told Stephanie about his intention. She was surprised because her friend was going to risk his health for only 500 euros. She would rather give him this money if only Alain would not fight. But he wants to fight because it's fun. Stephanie has come to the hospital to undergo certain procedures, after which she will be fitted with prosthetic legs. Unfortunately, the insurance company does not cover the cost of prostheses with a moving leg. Hannah's neighbors breed dogs, and she asked Alain to look after her son so that he wouldn't get in the way. The buyers came to buy the animals, but the man was distracted, and the son ran outside. He really liked the animals, so he became hysterical. When they chased them away, Alain grabbed the boy, yelled at him, and threw him to the floor. Anna was angry with her brother and kicked him out of the house. Stephanie asked to go and watch the fight with Alain. Many spectators gathered on the lawn. Marsali advised the newcomer to fall down immediately if something went wrong. Women were not allowed to be there, so Stephanie had to stay in the car. From a distance, she could see that Alain defeated his opponent quite quickly. He even had to be pulled away from his beaten opponent. Alain had another fight ahead of him, and in order not to sit around, he went for a run. The second opponent was smaller than the first, But he didn't cause Alain much trouble either and was knocked out. The boxer got the money, and on the way back bought his son a toy car. Only now has Stephanie learned that her friend has a son. Anna scolds her brother for hitting her son, and Alain has finally managed to pay his sister's rent. However, she does not like the way he earns money. Meanwhile, Alain got a girlfriend and stopped answering Stephanie's calls. This made her upset again. Marsali admitted that he had been installing hidden cameras to keep an eye on the vendors. This is not entirely legal, but no one cares. When the friends met again, Stephanie was already walking on artificial legs. Alain told her about his personal life. He doesn't really have a girlfriend. He just has love affairs with different women, but does not fall in love with them. Stephanie recalls that she used to be beautiful and liked to tease men, but now everything has changed. Alain suggested she make love to him to make sure she was okay. Stephanie laughed at first, but then thought about it and went into her room. She took off her dentures and then called her friend. Alain usually behaved like a wild animal in bed, but this time he had to be gentle with the girl. Stephanie was pleased, and the man took it as a kind of training, and asked her to call him if she ever wanted to do it again. The boxer gave Stephanie her will to live again. She even decided to come to the dolphinarium. She called an orca to her and talked to it through the glass for a while. Stephanie met with her colleagues and had fun with them. Her mood improved and she wrote to Alain again. This time she came to his house. The man wanted to introduce her to his sister and son. Little Sam was embarrassed to see the visitor's unusual legs and wanted to touch the prosthesis. After another fight, Alain was left without a tooth. A big and strong fighter destroyed his opponent. Alain is afraid that the same thing will happen to him, but he can't do anything about it because he doesn't know how to refuse. At some point, Alain was on the ground. He made a grab that he learned in training, but the opponent was too strong, and he hit Alain several more times. Suddenly, Stephanie got out of the car, and it inspired Ali. He finally knocked out a formidable opponent. To celebrate their victory, the friends went to a club. There, Stephanie looked at the feet of the dancing people, and Alain invited her to join the dance floor. But her friend refused, so Alain went to dance with other girls. The boxer met one of them and left Stephanie alone in the club. The girl was upset and started getting drunk at the bar. There, a man began to court her, but was rejected. When the man saw the prosthetics, he started apologizing to Stephanie, thinking it was because of them. The girl got angry and threw a glass at him. In the morning, Stephanie came to the beach and saw that Alain had fallen asleep at the table. She is jealous of her friend, but Alain does not understand what the problem is and why Stephanie is picking on him. The girl wants attention and respect. She suggested that he behave like a man, not an animal, but the man never wanted a relationship and never proposed one. The supermarket employees discovered the cameras and realized that they had been watched all along. Marsali ordered Alain to take away all the equipment. At the same time, one of the employees was filming him on her phone. His friends were kicked out of the store in disgrace. Marsali is going to leave the city for a few months and wants Stephanie to replace him at work and start taking bets during underground fights. She bought a car and got a tattoo on her right leg. Stephanie successfully collected all the bets, and Alain worked hard. One day, the boss called Anna and several other cashiers into his office. They were all fired. The employees showed the woman a photo of the culprit, who was filming with hidden cameras. When Alain returned from jogging, his sister told him that he would no longer live here. Surveillance cameras were installed in the pantry, and she and other employees were fired for taking expired food. Anna took Alain in, took care of his son, helped him get a job, and he treated her so badly. The girl hit her brother. Alain got angry and threw the table away. Richard pointed his gun at the boy to calm him down. He ordered Alain to pack his things and get out of the house. Alain stopped answering Stephanie's calls. She found out that he had left the city only when she came to Anna's house. He did not take the child with him and left her with his sister. Alain got a job in Strasbourg, where he began training for MMA fights. Over time, his sister stopped being angry and allowed her husband to bring Sam to his father. He promised that as soon as he had the money, he would return it. The father and son went for a walk in the winter forest and came to a frozen lake. Alain went to relieve himself and left the child alone. At some point, Sam fell through the ice, and his father did not even hear it. When he realized what had happened, he began to crawl across the ice in search of his son. When he found him, the boxer started pounding the ice with all his might. Alain managed to break through to Sam, and he pulled him out of the water. Now doctors are fighting for his son's life. The man has been by Sam's side all this time. That evening, Alain called Stephanie. He told his friend that the boy had already regained consciousness, but Alain had broken bones in his hands. Stephanie called to say goodbye to Alain. She just wanted to know how the boy was doing, because the 3 hours Sam spent in a coma had completely changed Alain's attitude to life. Stephanie did not leave Alain. She was present at the fight in which the fighter won the title. But he didn't know how long he would be able to continue his career as a fighter because he broke his arm on the ice, and sooner or later the pain would return. But now he had a real family. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.